This is not your mother's middle-aged. No longer is waking up each day, living the wash, rinse, and repeat cycle acceptable. We have the life lessons, the relationships, the wins, and the losses with which to navigate to our highest self, without hesitation and without fear leading the way. We have been there and done that, and so we have so much to offer the world and each other. So join me on this journey, speaking to ordinary women doing extraordinary things for new insights, new ideas, new medical breakthroughs, and new life lessons. You will be inspired to find your best life here and now. My name is Wendy Charles Maguire, and this is your Second Wind podcast. Welcome, Second Wind. Today, I am introducing you to a wonderful woman. Her name is Karhma Novak. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a teacher. She's also the executive director of the I-58 mission, which is why you see all this stuff behind us. This is just one of many rooms of stuff. And being the executive director, as Karhma said, actually means I just can clean the toilets and drive the box truck. Which I thought was great, because as the owner of a restaurant, I'm like, all it needs is I do everything. Do all the things. She does all the things. But this is a very unique story. Karhma is one of those people that brings energy and love to everyone she touches. I used to, when I had my charity, be able to bring donated dog and cat food here, and I got my feet a little bit wet in it, and then we moved and got Lyme, and I just haven't been back. But boy, do I want to. Anyway, it's a pretty sweet place. It's really amazing. So many things have happened since I've been here last time. So welcome, Karhma, to Second Wind podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
This is good. We've been trying to do this for a little while. Let's start, because who really wants to devote their time to sorting clothes and food and dealing with all the stuff you deal with? I mean, hundreds of people come through here on a given Thursday.
Every Thursday. Yep. We get to love on a lot of folks.
Yeah. And the fact is, you do love on them and offer them hope and dignity. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But what was the moment for you, your second wind, that turned into this huge place?
So we went to a very small church and tight-knit community. Y'all, excuse me, my allergies are crazy. And our church was doing an angel tree. But unlike when you go through one of the huge programs and maybe you drop your toys off at Toys for Tots or at the Walmart or someplace big, because it was tight knit, we got to take the gifts straight to the family. So, we go over and we are in all of our middle classdom feeling really good about ourselves and these great toys.
Doing nice things for others. Yeah.
And so we get there and we are completely in shock.
You're in shock. What do you mean you're in shock?
I mean, I'd never seen anything like it. We get there and there's huge holes in the walls from rats.
Oh, wow.
There's no running water in the bathtub, and there's a child in the house. There's plastic where there should be glass on windows. It was devastating, and they needed our toys were ridiculous. I mean, it just didn't touch the needs that were there. So we loved on the mom and the daughter, and we go to leave. And anybody that knows my husband and I know that I am the high-strung one. I'm the type A. He is so low-key, like painfully low-key, y'all. Sometimes I want him to get mad. And that day we get out to the car and he looks at me and he goes, what the hell have we been doing for 35 years? That we say we love Jesus and this lady and her kid are 5 minutes from our house. That's not okay. And that's literally the moment that our whole life shifted. So we started loving on this mama and
on your own,
on our own.
Okay.
Start pulling in people, friends, like, okay, you can do carpentry. Can you come help? You can do plumbing. Can you come
Because
help?
you saw all the different needs in your house. And
Yes.
said, well, let's at least fix the water. Let's at least fix the whatever you saw.
They need running water. Yeah. So we got a few people involved and it literally just grew legs. It was the weirdest. It's like, have you ever been in the ocean and you look up and your hotel's like a mile down and you don't feel like you moved? That's how we felt. Like a wave just shifted our whole lives. It was bizarre. So we started getting these random phone calls from strangers, y'all, literally strangers in our community. Hey, we heard you were caring for people in poverty. My wife wants a new washer and dryer. Ours still works. She just wants to upgrade. Do y'all need it? Could you use it for a family? So it was crazy. So all of a sudden, like our garage is full of furniture and appliances. My daughter had to sleep on her mattress in my son's room because her room was full of Rubbermaid containers of clothes. It just was crazy. It was literally crazy. And God just started this whole thing, this movement in our little town, and it's been a ride.
It's been a ride. And we're going to get back to the garage because that was a huge part of it. So who is Karhma? Who is this woman who's sitting in front of us who said, okay, I'm going to take on this family. And then, okay, I'm going to shift gears here.
Yeah. I mean, I'd been teaching for, at that point, 16 years. I had my master's. I'd never led anything. I definitely never led in ministry. So it was a huge leap. It was a huge leap.
However, you always were very connected with God, you said.
Yeah.
Since you were a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really something that your parents like drilled into you.
No, my parents are hippies.
Yeah,
for sure.
hippies.
And they've
like,
never
so where
grown
did
out
you
of
get
it.
this from?
I could not tell you. I mean, I've just always known that Jesus loves me and that he has a plan for me. And
so interesting.
Sorry.
No.
So it's just, he's always been my heart. And so
as a little kid,
I mean, I would get on the church bus that came through our neighborhood where we knew no one. Like, I can't believe my parents let me get on this bus with these strangers, but they would come through our little street and pick up kids to take them to church. And no adult went with me.
But you led the church for that. Like, you're like, I'm going to go get on the bus now.
Go.
Your parents didn't say, okay, you better get out to the bus now.
Absolutely
it wasn't
not.
like that.
No.
Wow.
Knew that was just
who you were.
Part of me. Yeah.
Okay. So how did that grow as you were going through school and into high school, college kind of thing?
It was just always there. I just knew that Jesus came for me and he had something planned for me.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, until I-58, though, I really felt very purposeless. I looked at other people that were loving their jobs or doing something amazing. And I just thought, oh gosh, I am pretty miserable.
Really?
I mean, I did not love my job at that point. All the fun of teaching it was all about a test. And that's not why I taught.
Why did you go into teaching? Do you remember?
Well, when I was little, I told my parents that I wanted to teach so I could spank those kids, which is hysterical. I was like 6, and I just thought that was like, yeah. So
I wonder if they were in school, were you watching like rowdy kids?
I don't know, but I thought
you or something.
But now that I look back on the fact that I said that, it's hysterical. But no, I loved, like, they were my kids. I was their mama for 8 hours a day.
True.
And some of them I'm still friends with. I see them married with their kids and we're connected. And it's just so rewarding to know that I got to love on that kid for 9 months, for school year, they were my kid. Yeah. And when it all went to tests, it just sucked the life right out of it. It sucked the joy right out of it. So, but
there's a lot of paperwork, right?
A lot of paperwork, but a lot of pressure.
Oh,
a lot of pressure for test scores to be a certain place. And I don't know. It wasn't why I wanted to teach. And I think that was part of God's mercy because, if you love your job, why would you leave your job?
Exactly.
So at that point,
I see the doors shutting. Yeah. While the window's opening.
Yep.
Okay.
So we started this little tiny nonprofit in our garage, which our HOA loved.
Yeah, so that was explain that because that was a pivotal moment for the mission.
It was huge.
Well, what were you calling yourself? So
we were Project 586, which is based on Isaiah 58 verse 6. And
for those of us who are not knowledgeable.
So basically the prophet Isaiah walks up, and there are these guys that are praying. But y'all, they are putting on like a huge display. They want everyone to know that they're praying. They've ripped their clothes. They're sitting in ash. It's a show. And he walks up and he is like ticked. And he says, that is not the fast that our God wants. He wants us to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, set the oppressed free. So what you're doing, no, that's not it. And so, it's like,
which is how you felt when you went to that original.
Yeah, these gifts that are more about us than about them.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. So our garage was full and our HOA sent us a lot of nasty letters a lot of threatening letters.
Mhm.
And I literally called and said, "So you're telling me I cannot store things in my garage that I am giving away for free to people that are poor and in need?" And they said, "That's exactly what we're telling you. You have 10 days to clean out your garage."
Why? Why? Are the people coming into the HOA and they don't like that?
Right, a
It
lot to do with it. There were
oh,
people
just
coming
shows
into our
you.
neighborhood. There were people that were strangers coming to our neighborhood. There were people of other ethnicities coming into our neighborhood. And I don't know, but it got ugly. So,
Mm,
but
mm,
that was just like the teaching thing.
right.
We wouldn't have left our garage. I mean, we didn't have any money. We didn't have a board at that time. It was seriously brand new, and we had no idea what we were
It was
doing.
kinda like a hobby to
Yeah.
try to make a difference,
Yes.
and now you're being forced
To make
to
a decision.
either give all this stuff away and just
Give up.
abide by the rules
Mhm.
and go do your thing and help out when you can.
Mhm. Or
So
to
why didn't you do that? Because that
we
seems like the
totally
path of least resistance.
oh, yeah, but that that's never been my path. So, we just knew this is what we were supposed to be doing. Like, we just knew it
You
was
and your husband.
mhm. Our kids would go with us to serve. At that point,
Okay.
I mean, now they're 13 and 15, and that was 2014. So, they were little. And they would go, and if the family had children, they'd love on the babies or play with the dogs or hang out with the kids or help us take stuff off the truck into the houses. They were part of it. But that yuckiness from the HOA was a springboard. It made us stretch and grow. And so if that hadn't happened, who knows how long we would have stayed in the garage.
Right, right. Just doing the little that you could,
Mhm.
which is still very admirable. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, that's
But it
still
was very limited.
big. It is limiting. Wow. Okay. So I'm sure you were not pleased that
Oh,
this
it
was
was
happening.
hard. It's
So
hard
what
to
did
go
you
home and not feel like you're at peace in your own house.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. I'm sure people listening have had issues with neighbors and
yes,
and
it
issues
happens.
with neighbors.
It happens.
It happens. So some people might say, well, I'm just going to move and do my own thing. That's kind of what I did. I'm like, I do have too many animals. I shall move. Yes, I can get more animals. Baby cow last night, by the way. I digress. So wait. So you're ticked off at the HOA. You're not feeling happy being in your own space now.
Yeah.
So what do you do? How do you move forward? How do you
So,
even know how to move forward?
I honestly have no idea. Looking back, I have no idea how we got connected with the sweet pastor that was at Turin United Methodist Church.
Yeah,
But
that was huge.
I can't tell you how we got connected.
How
But the next thing I know, he's saying, "Hey, we have these 2 Sunday school rooms that we aren't using, and we would love to invite you guys in." So, we started
wait,
taking
and you're like, invite us in to teach Sunday school?
no, he's like, "You can set up clothes closet." So
So he's actually giving you these 2 rooms
yeah,
to use
they
at your
charged us rent,
discretion.
nothing.
So
Yes.
you could bring
Gave us a
all this
key to
stuff.
their building. We didn't know them from Adam's house cat. Like, they just said,
House
"You're
cat.
doing something great here. We wanna be a part of it. This is what we have. We're gonna give what we have." So
Oh my
pretty
gosh.
amazing. Pretty amazing. So we rented a little storage unit to put the furniture in. We
Yeah.
took the clothes and the dishes and all the things there, and it just continued to grow. The church that we were attending, the one that we pulled the angel from the angel tree, that church was shrinking. And every time there would be a substantial shrink, Pastor Brent would come to us and say, "Hey, we combined these 2 Sunday school groups, so that room is empty. Could I-58 use that room, or Project 586, could you use that room?"
Wait, shrinking in attendance kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Every time he'd say, "Do you want this space?" We'd say, "Yes." And so we ended up
So now you got stuff in 2 different places.
it was very hard.
So did you and your family have to like, what did you
Oh,
do you
and
have
the
to
storage unit.
and the storage unit.
Oh, it
So
was
how
crazy.
do you even know who to help?
We would open the doors at Turin United Methodist for people to come shop. So people just started hearing word of mouth. When you help one person in a community that is suffering, they go tell the people they love who are also suffering. And so the word of mouth, and then Turin, when they would get phone calls from people who needed help, they'd say, "Oh, you can come. Project 586 is here on this day. You can come get served." But we weren't
Oh,
doing
wow.
food, and so that was a hard place because if people need those things, they likely need food too. So there was this teeny tiny one-room food pantry in the very back of the church that we attended. We didn't have any connection to it, didn't know much about it, but one of the board members was our pastor's wife. And so
Mm.
she made the connection. We found out that we were both based on Isaiah 58. They were doing food, we were doing the clothes and the household goods and furniture. And in 2015, we merged into the I-58 mission.
And that is it a proverb? Is that what they're called? What's the 58 thing? I-58, Isaiah 58.
Sorry.
Bible
Chapter
verse.
verse, yeah.
I'm working on it. Please forgive me. I am open to learning. So, but please share what that verse.
It's the one we talked about a few minutes ago
Oh, it's
with
the
the
same
prophet.
verse?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we were both based on that, and we were 5 minutes from each other. We had no idea.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah. So then we pretty much took over that church building. That church ended up closing, and God did crazy, miraculous things for like 6 months to help us
Like what?
keep going. Y'all, we had no money.
I mean, because you're doing this on your own money,
Yeah.
right? Your own,
I mean,
and you're
we-
driving to, thank God, prices of gas were not,
Oh, yeah.
it being, what is it, almost April of 2022 and all the mayhem of
Yeah.
everything. But you're driving things, you're taking your time.
And we didn't
your
have trucks.
energy.
We were having to borrow trucks to serve people furniture and appliances.
God,
It was crazy. It literally was. Like I
Yeah.
look back and I'm thinking, how did we even like sustain that time frame? It was
Right.
crazy. But Pastor Brent called one time and said, I don't know how this guy heard about us, but he's a pastor. He's starting a church in Athens. So that's like 2.5 hours away.
Mhm.
And he heard we were closing and he wants to buy 200 chairs and that'll pay the mortgage for next month
For you.
for us. It was crazy stuff like that that Jesus did to keep a roof over our heads and the electricity on.
Honestly, you just found yourself saddled with this building on this land that we're sitting in right now, by the way. And
And we had no way to pay for it.
and
No.
it's not like your husband's also, what is he?
He's a
also
teacher.
also.
Yeah, so it's not like we're millionaires and
Right.
oh, it's no big deal. We'll ride.
We'll just
No.
fund this until it makes its own
Definitely
way.
not. No.
Oh, wow.
So
What a leap of faith. Wait, before you continue, how did you, even with my charity, which, yeah, it cost me some money and stuff, but it was negligible compared to what you were doing. I'm helping animals and I'm arranging bike rides and different fundraisers and stuff. I still felt pressure, right?
mhm,
Just little old me. And I ended up having some friends help me who I said, oh, I need a board. Let's do this. kind of
right.
thing.
Yep.
I can't even imagine what you were feeling. What is that pressure like? What's that?
Terrified. Yeah, it was very scary. And not knowing the nonprofit world, we had no clue where to start, what to do.
Yeah.
So when the two organizations merged, that was a huge blessing because they had a board. They had some wonderful people who
That
loved
willing
Jesus.
to talk to you.
Yes, and they wanted to serve and they didn't want to just stop at that part of the verse that says feed the hungry. They wanted to do the other things too. So it's just it was amazing.
Mm.
It was miraculous.
Can you remember back? I know you don't want to bring up old stuff, but it's kind of important. What was like do you have a memory of something that like maybe woke you up in the middle of the night or something that just was scared you and did anything ever almost make you turn off this path?
Nothing made me turn off the path. I mean, I knew that this was what I was supposed to do.
Really?
But when
Question? Second guess? None of that?
I would say like just a lot of fear. Like, how
Mhm.
on earth is this going? Like, you're telling me I'm supposed to do this. How am I supposed to do this? Like, okay, I'm being obedient, but what does this even look like? I don't.
Fear of the unknown.
It's like that scene in Indiana Jones where he steps out and there's the invisible bridge. And he's like, sweet God, don't let me fall.
Really?
That's how I
Yeah.
felt. Like, there's nothing there. I see nothing.
Oh.
And you want me to take a step. So it's terrifying. But
But you stepped.
I stepped.
Why?
I knew I was supposed to.
Wow. Okay.
When you know you're supposed to do, when God tells you to do something, why wouldn't you say yes? Like it's going to be a bazillion times better than your own plan.
What does that sound like to you when God's talking
I just knew, and I just like knew, like
in
he
your
just-
gut?
Yes, just knew.
And if you didn't do it, was it a different feeling in you? Were you feeling not,
Yeah,
you
like
feel like yucky?
yeah.
Like when you're writing a letter to somebody and you're saying something you probably should. Right? This happens to me and I'm saying something I probably shouldn't say. And then I get that icky feeling. You're like,
Yep.
okay, I can't say that.
Yep.
Same thing.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it was pretty amazing. It was
Wow.
amazing.
So you're stepping off in faith.
And I think the scariest, like you were asking, the scariest moment, we had a church that came in and bought the property.
Because the property was for sale.
It was for
We didn't
sale.
mention that. The church closed yet. This property we're in right now, the whole thing, and the church building, how many acres is it?
15 acres.
Oh, wow. 15 acres in actually right off the town of Sonoy, which is blown up, had The Walking Dead, which is where one of my restaurants is. And that's how I found out about you guys. But that's
10,000
that's
square foot.
prime real estate.
Yeah.
Because we're right off
We were,
16 and
what, a mile from Main Street?
yeah.
So when that church bought the building, they were very gracious to us. Sonoy First Baptist, they were very, very kind to us. They said, we're not moving for 2 years. You have 2 years. So you have 2 years to find a place. And
That's
you're
interesting.
safe. We're just going to ask you to do $1,000 a month, which probably didn't even cover the electric
Oh my
bill.
gosh, $1,000 a month for 15 acres and how many square feet?
10,000 square feet.
10,000 square feet.
Unbelievable.
So
Literally probably didn't cover the power.
oh,
Seriously.
absolutely not.
So that was the scariest moment, I think, because the board,
Well, you still have to come up with $1,000.
and that happened. That was happening.
That's a lot of money.
That was happening. There wasn't a lot left, but that was happening.
How is that happening? From your garage?
People were hearing about the ministry and they wanted to support. And so it was really cool. But I kept saying, y'all, I don't know how it's going to happen and I can't write the check, but this is where we're supposed to be. And of course, I'm very girly and I wear my heart on my sleeve. So all the very kind male board members were like, it's going to be okay, honey. This is not our building. They bought it. You got that, right? They just bought it.
The little smack of reality.
Yeah.
Reality check.
We need to start looking for a property. It's going to be okay. God will take care of us, but they bought it. They're coming here. This is not yours. And I'm like in my head going, no, this is our building.
Oh, you were pretty
I
sure.
just knew. And so 2 years later, when our time should have been up, I will never forget at that time, their youth pastor, Jonathan, was here doing devotion for our Thursday pantry. And he said,
He's pretty amazing, by the way.
Yes,
I have
so sweet.
Yes.
And he said, sometimes it's not about us. And this time it wasn't about us. He said, were we obedient? Did we hear the Holy Spirit say, buy this property? Yes. He said, but it wasn't for us. It was for I-58 mission. And
Wait, had they already
could have-
decided that they were going
to sell it to us. So this is what they did. And y'all, if you Google properties in Sonoy off of Main Street, you will see what a big deal this is. Because it is, I mean, there are $1 million houses right down the road.
Oh, I know. It's blown up.
So they said, if you pay us what we owe the bank, then we will interest-free fund the rest for 7 years. You just pay us back. And all we want is what we paid for the property, which was $550,000.
Which was still a deal back then.
Oh, crazy deal. Crazy deal.
But
you can't buy 15 acres.
no, you really can't.
I mean, it's crazy. And so we don't do fundraisers. We share the vision. Yeah.
I remember when you started with, I think somebody had written a check for $15,000 or something like that. There was some big check and you're like, we're on our way.
On the way.
I'm like, ooh, that's a really long way.
Way to go. Yeah.
Was there a timeline on that?
Yeah. We had about a year. It was like $325 that we needed to raise. We had about a year to do that.
Wow.
Not doing fundraisers. So we just shared with people.
Yep.
This is what Jesus is doing here. This is the opportunity that is put in front of us. This is where we feel like we're supposed to be. If you want to come alongside us, we would be grateful. And so in a year, Jesus raised over $300,000. We were able to buy the property. We have 5 years left to pay off the rest. And nobody but him could do that.
That's incredible.
So when you're walking in the steps that he has for you, it's not always pain-free or fear-free. I've always had this image. Sorry, y'all. I've always had this image of it, like you and your dad are you're in the field and there are flowers and it's beautiful and the grass is high and your dad is taking those steps and he's pressing the grass.
Oh, he's
down.
mashing it down for you so you can make your way.
And that's how I feel about
I love
what Jesus
that.
has done for us.
I love that. What's a nice way to say that?
It's been beautiful.
And is there stress every month in making these payments?
One of the many reasons for this podcast is to collect, connect, and share information that will add to your life. It is my honor and pleasure to share products with you that I buy, use, and believe in that are high quality, sustainable, responsible to our earth, and that actually work. One product I have been using for almost a year now, every day, and now twice a day, with the diagnosis of my Lyme disease, is collagen. Collagen is a buzzword right now because collagen is a protein that makes up 30% of our bodies. And like everything else, as we age, we lose it. Fine lines, brittle nails, dull hair, achy joints, dry skin are all part of why collagen is so essential. So let me share why Elaine Collagen, the brand I use, is, in my opinion, more effective than what's out there on those shelves. It is easy to use, tasteless, and dissolves into any beverage. It's non-GMO, and it's from cows raised in Spain, and no chemicals are used for its extraction. Bingo, speaking my language. You can experience the benefits for yourself and receive 15% off by using the code SECONDWIND, all one word, at checkout at ElaineWellness.com. And if you want to know more about Elaine and her Second Wind story, listen to her episode. The title is Plot Twist: There's No Such Thing as Anti-Aging, from March 15, 2021. Now, back to the episode.
There's not stress, but there's stress. Like, I know he's going to bring it, so I can rest in that. But when you make a deposit for a whole week and it's $1,100 and you're thinking, okay, that week's gift will pay for the lights. Like, okay, now, Lord, we kind of need this to be paid for and that to be paid for. And, there's so much that goes into it. And even just running the pantry, yesterday I sent 2 of our sweet volunteers shopping because there were feminine products that are non-negotiable that we didn't have. And so I was like, okay, we have to take part of the budget. We need to go buy those because our ladies won't have that. And they have to have that. And if you can't eat it, you can't buy it with food stamps. And so there are always needs.
Mm-hmm.
So we just look to him to fill the gap.
Because how do you budget for something like this? Right? Because you just
You don't know what you're
you
going to
don't
need.
know.
Yeah. So we have a lot of amazing community partners and church partners that do food drives or give monthly financially. So it always comes together.
It always comes together. Oh, that's amazing. Let's get into, how does this work? Like, for somebody who's never been to something like this or knows about it, how does it work?
So we serve the 4 counties that are around us: Coweta, Spalding, Meriwether, and Fayette.
Hmm.
And if you are in need in those areas, you can come on Thursday. Thursday is our pantry day. It is the best day of the week, y'all. It's so much fun.
It is.
It's a blast.
There's so much energy in here.
Yeah.
It, like, makes your hair stand up.
Yeah.
It's
Seriously.
crazy. Yeah.
We have pastors on rotation, so we do devotion. It's like a little mini church service.
It really is. I was not prepared for that. When I was bagging food, and I was still bagging while I was like, what's happening? Oh,
Yeah.
they're talking. And then somebody said, you have to stop bagging. I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. All right. Sorry. Making noise over here. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
But everybody
sweet-
comes and sits down.
volunteers and
listens,
clients. We
even
all
the
just,
kids.
yep. We all gather. And now we have a few musicians that come and do music, which our people love. Last week, the young man that did music had learned a hymn just for this because he saw the week before a lot of older folks. And he's like, I really want to do a song that I think most of our people will know.
They would know, yeah.
And when he started, like, all the voices that I could hear around me, young and old and Southern and Northern and
Singing?
rich, and yeah, it was amazing. I think that's probably what heaven is going to sound like. It was so
Oh
cool.
my gosh.
It was so cool. So we do devotion. There are some great things that come in, but they're not necessities. It's not a clothing item or, a high chair. It's not one of the things that we'd keep in one of our spaces that our people shop from. But it's cool stuff. It's great stuff. Sometimes it's like cleaning products. Sometimes it's shower chairs for our elderly folks. Sometimes
It's home decor too.
it's home decor, which our older ladies love.
Yeah.
It's
great.
purses and jewelry that we wouldn't keep downstairs. So we put that on our stage. And after devotion, our folks get to go up on the stage and shop. And everything's free. But the ladies that do the stage, it looks like a storefront.
It really does.
It's so beautiful.
incredible.
So our people go up there and shop. And then one of our volunteers, Big Jerry, will call their name when it's their turn. They'll get their grocery cart. We have grocery carts, which is so fun. And they'll go through the little pantry like it's a store, and they'll pick out what their family needs, which is part of how we encourage and love on them, is giving them choices. Because everybody, doesn't matter your socioeconomic standing, everybody has likes and dislikes, and everybody has opinions. So to be able to esteem by saying your opinion matters, get what you like, it's part of the joy of what we do.
And it's orchestrated chaos.
It really is.
And it really isn't chaotic like I thought it
It's
would
just
be.
super crazy busy. It's a lot of
It's
busyness.
busy, but people are in order.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was very impressed at people know where they're supposed to stand in line, and they know when it's their turn, and they don't get antsy that it's not their turn yet.
Everybody's, it's family.
So people you're serving,
Mhm.
what does that number look like?
Oh gosh.
Like what? Okay, better question. When you started doing it, how many are
Oh.
you serving?
So if we hit 50 to 75,
That seems like a lot.
we thought everybody in Sonoy was here.
That's
we
75 families
Family.
you're serving.
Not individuals, but family. We thought that was just like, holy moly, this is huge.
Yeah.
And then 2 Christmases ago, we broke 200 families.
Wow.
And this place we were hanging from the rafters. There were people everywhere, but they know that Thanksgiving and Christmas, we do special things. And so even the folks that we may not have gotten to see throughout the year, they come Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's like a family reunion, where you get to see the folks that you miss, they don't need you all year, which is good.
Yeah, I was
It's
going to
good.
say.
It's a positive thing, but we typically get to see everybody those 2 weeks.
And there is an application process, right? That people have to go through.
They fill out a form,
form.
but as long as they live in our 4 counties and they have needs, and we love on them.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And as I was coming down here and noticing the new floors, the new paint, all these amazing, it's just gorgeous down here. I saw a brand new front loader washer and dryer.
Oh my God.
And I said, what's that? And it turns out that not only can you wash some of the beddings, and I mean, people don't have mattresses or sheets or covers or any of this stuff, a lot more than you would think.
Right.
And they're able to wash stuff that gets donated that needs it, but also wash clothes for people that are homeless.
Yeah.
And that's a huge need.
It's a huge need. I mean,
because what do you do if you're homeless? How do you?
One of our gentlemen will come in and we had 2 sleeping bags so we can rotate. So we give him the clean one. We take the dirty one, wash it so that we can love on him in that way, wash his clothes for him. And we're super excited because our next endeavor in that same realm is a shower for our homeless folks.
Oh,
so we had the shower donated. Now we're working on the plumbing and all of those components. But that'll be a game changer. I mean, imagine how you feel just doing yard work, right?
Yeah.
You want to come in but to live in those clothes for a week.
Yeah. Sleep, everything. Do you ever, if somebody like that, is homeless, and I know I've tried to hire people from here, doesn't always work. Okay. It never worked, but it was a good effort.
It was a good effort.
Good effort. You send them off to go sleep in a sleeping bag, and it could be 30 degrees that night.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
So how do you deal with that?
We try to connect them with like the Nest, which is in Noonan. They open when temperatures fall below 32.
Okay.
But there's nothing in Sonoy for the homeless.
Wow.
And, we have the land, but we don't have the ability yet to house anybody. So
is that what you're thinking in the future?
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, really? Wow. It's a whole nother
beast. But
wow.
To know that we have like a young mom and her baby living in her van, that's heartbreak. How do you care for a baby I can't even wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
So to have housing, that would be.
Yeah. I knew I was doing what I could, and that was way better. And that's how I could sleep at night.
You can only do what you can do.
Right. Can you sleep at night? do you sleep at night? That's a good question, right?
Yeah.
We didn't go over that.
No. Yeah, it's hard on your heart. It's hard on your heart. When you get the phone calls that say, we don't have electricity and we have children, it's painful.
What happens when they call?
We have a countywide resource guide that all of like the local nonprofits are in, and it tells who offers what. And
Okay.
so we try to connect them and lead them in the right direction. And we have some sweet church partners. We have one church partner. I hope that Pastor Blake doesn't beat me for telling the story, but one church is the real deal. They housed one of our families on their property for a week.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
I don't know how many rules we may have broken by doing that, but
Ask for forgiveness.
they were like, we're not turning them away. And a lot of businesses, organizations, churches, they're very concerned about following the rules. And sometimes the people get lost. The people are more important than the rules. And so I could not have been more proud of my church than right then.
Okay, deep breath. Okay, so give me a story of maybe somebody who's come to you that you, through this, you saw your efforts just blossom and be that thing and just speak to your heart and be like, yes, I'm where I need to be. I'm sure you have a million of those stories.
Yeah, there are so many stories, but this is just a tiny, tiny, tiny instance. So a few weeks ago, we had a gentleman come to look at our warehouse because we were worried about some water issues out there. And he was getting a tour of the main building. And I told him, I said, okay, don't leave. I want to see your face after you've seen the building, and I want to know what you think. And so he had finished the tour, and I was coming out to say goodbye and hug his neck. And he said, there's a lot of esteeming that happens here. I just see how clean and everything's so nice and organized. And I said, yeah, we really want to esteem and build up our people,
Provide dignity. Yeah.
And at that moment, one of our ladies was checking out. She had grocery shopped and she was on her way out the door with her little buggy. And she turned around and she said, and if you don't have dignity when you get here, you have it when you leave. And that is what we're doing.
Mm.
We want our people to feel so loved, so esteemed, so valuable, not, hey, you're poor and this is what we have and you should appreciate it. Or, hey, this is good enough for you. We don't do the good enough mentality. God didn't give us mediocre. He gave us his best, gave us Jesus.
Wow.
And so we want to give our best. So for her to turn around and say that,
Wow.
I mean, that's a moment I will never forget.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
It's a beautiful place.
So you don't teach anymore. This you do full time.
Yeah.
What does that
Here.
look like?
Oh gosh.
Day in the life of Karhma now?
It's all over the place, and it's
Because you
different
also
every day.
love animals. So you have what,
Yes.
3? Okay, we can't talk about it 'cause she's still in the HOA. However,
A lot.
you love animals.
We have a lot of rescue dogs that we adore. I have 2 kiddos that are busy people. And
Teenagers.
yeah, my daughter turns 13 today, so
Oh,
big deal. So it's busy outside of here, but here it's a blast. I mean, it never looks the same, which I love. I could not sit at a desk and do the same thing every day. So this is my heart. So it may look like us getting a ridiculously huge donation of clothes and the shelves being full and me coming down and helping the ladies sort. It might look like Judith and Jackie, our pantry coordinator and her partner in crime. It might look like today they're going to go pick up a pallet of water. So it may look like me unloading the box truck of water. You never know what's going to happen, what's going to come in, who's going to show up that needs help. Yesterday was amazing. So we partnered in the past with Pathways. And
what's Pathways for those who don't have?
it's a house for women who are coming out of addiction.
Right.
And one of their precious, beautiful young women graduated the program. She's getting her apartment this weekend. So she came yesterday and we loaded her up. I mean, we went to the warehouse and she picked out beds and she picked out a table and she
To
was
start her life.
Yes.
substance-free.
Yeah, with her babies. So yesterday was beautiful. So it may look like being in the warehouse moving furniture. You just never know, but that's part of the joy. It's never the same. So keeps me on my toes.
Oh my gosh, Karhma, this is amazing. I mean, who could not? I mean, I'm back here and I'm like, oh, I got to start coming back. Takes me an hour to get here, but that's okay because that's nothing. It's totally worth it. So how can people find you? Do you take donations? ?
We do take donations. We do. We ask that all clothing items, shoes, all those things be whole and stay free. We want it to be clean and beautiful to give. We definitely take financial assistance. If your wife is replacing her washer and dryer, we would love the old one if it still works and it's rust free. Like, we take so many things so that we can use that to love on people,
Yeah, if you're going to sell something because you're getting something new and it works and you're going to make maybe $50,
yeah,
why not
right,
donate it instead? Because that's going to mean way more than that.
Absolutely.
That little monetary thing.
That 1 meal at Longhorn.
Yes, exactly.
It could be a game changer for one of our families. Yeah, it's huge.
Oh, I love how you said that. So where should they direct these things?
Okay, so we are located at 2450 Highway 85 in Sonoy. So physical donations can come there. Our website is the i58mission.org. And it is beautiful, and it kind of gives you a landscape of what all we do and how you can pour in. There's a list of food needs on there. Every week we try to update it according to what we need in the pantry. And you can give financially by sending a check. Our PayPal is the i58mission@gmail.com. And then there's a giving option on our website. So lots of ways to pour in.
I love that. I've got a really quick question, just in case. If somebody's not in the state, say they're in California, but they're moved by this story, because how could you not? And say it's a friend of mine and she wants to say buy $100 worth of, say, feminine hygiene.
Oh gosh.
Or you always need diapers and wipes and things like that. As
Amazon knows us by name.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would someone do that? Could they order it somewhere and it gets delivered?
Site and then ship it straight to the building. Mm-hmm.
And can people then, for people who are interested in it, get a donation form, a tax letter? Does that happen? Can it happen?
It can happen. Yeah, It can definitely happen. We have receipt books. If it's shipped, a lot of times, though, we don't know who it came from. Mm-hmm. So you would definitely want to shoot me an email or call up here and say, hey, you should be expecting this gift. Here's my information. Can you send me a receipt?
Which would be really good for you, too, to know what's coming.
Oh, yeah. It's very helpful.
Could be helpful.
Yeah. But it's also fun. It's like Christmas when Amazon shows up because we don't know who sent what.
Right.
You might be opening a box of razors. We had this company in California. I don't know how they heard about us, but they kept sending us boxes of 500 loose tampons. We're like, sweet, we'll take that.
Oh, it's like it's the same thing with the dog food I would get from a warehouse that I cannot say because trouble. But if a bag gets nicked, it goes into the trash.
Yep. When there are all these hungry puppies out there. I know. I'm
like, give it to me. I'll come in the cover of night.
Exactly. Seriously. Yeah.
Because it makes no sense for it to go in a dumpster.
We have a couple stores that call us when things are going into the dumpster.
I mean, what?
So we're
you got to circumvent some of this red tape that
people are
important.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh. Karhma, thank you so much for your time.
I'm so excited. I love sharing what he's doing here. It's good.
Well, I mean, you are the vehicle. You are the, what do you call that? You're the, what is that? The God and then the thing and the person in between. What is that? The vehicle.
Conduit.
Oh, I thought that one too. Conduit.
Yeah. I'll take that. I'm just grateful that he allows me to participate.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for your time. A big hug. And until next time, breathe in your second wind. Thank you for listening today. I hope that something you heard made you smile, made you think, and made you feel. If these incredible stories empowered you, awakened you, or left you feeling inspired, make sure to share with a friend and write us a review on iTunes so we can continue to change lives through this content. Make sure you tag us while you're listening on our Facebook group, My Second Wind, or hit the link in the show notes to join the conversation. Until next time, go ahead and breathe in your second wind.